synonymously or unanimously, excuse me, everybody that's going to call in the night is going to agree that's a guy who you've got to get him more minutes.
Yep, that's what this is about, man. If I'm a, and I don't care how he practices, I don't care about any of that. This team has needs, and he gonna fill a need because they really need somebody with some oomph at that two guard that can play a little offense for them. But yeah, this Ament guy, man, he's a real problem.
He might have to slide down to the 3 if we're getting real.
That poor guy is a problem at this point, which I never thought we'd say, but hey, it kind of is what it is, man. I ain't covering for him. The guy's making $4 million. He is a problem.
God, look at Evans.
Oh, Evans is damn. Evans
How was that not an and one?
How has he not been playing till now? Matt Diskin?
Well, you haven't really played. He was kind of buried on the bench, and so. But now's the time you can play guys like him, and his emergence is huge.
Huge. 83-71. The Vols are trailing. We're just doing a little preamble here before we get started. We're going to do a little bit of this as the year goes along. I don't know how much, but every once in a while we'll pop in here. Give you a reason to come in here a second early. But for the most part, a game Tennessee kind of hung around, had the lead in the second half, couple possession lead, even though they really did not play winning basketball today. There was just so many things that went on today. You're not going to win. They shot the ball well. They've shot the ball well today. But there's just so many things that have just been just kind of mid. You know what's weird, Matt, is you go on the road, you shoot 42% from three-point range, and you're not even going to be close at the end of the game. Odd basketball game, Matt.
Well, I mean, the final score is not indicative of the game. I thought you played pretty well for the most part. You gave it away at the free throw line.
Yep.
And then you had all these kind of careless turnovers late where they made shots. But, I actually am probably encouraged by a lot of the stuff we saw.
Agree.
But, I mean, the free throw shooting cost you the game.
This
if you make your free throws, it's a totally different game these last 4 minutes, and it comes down to the wire.
If this Ament guy doesn't pick it up from the foul line, Matt, he's going to live at the foul line. He was a 90% shooter in the summer circuits, high 80s, low 90s.
It's all mental right now for him. You just got to hope you figure out a way for him to come out of it.
Yep.
Which you've got plenty of time to do it.
Yep. But they have some unplayable players, Matt, that they put out there. And he's got this he did it today at times, some weird combinations he plays. At Arkansas is not a time to play your weird combinations where you're going to go 4 minutes without scoring.
Yeah, they tried to steal way too many minutes without Gillespie there in the middle of the second half.
I don't get that, Matt.
Right in the middle of that 11-0 run.
Yeah, show some urgency, man. Put your foot on them.
Well, I mean, they're trying to steal minutes, and they tried to steal a few too many.
Yep. So it's a 9-point game with 35 seconds left. We'll get right in, and we got full bank of calls. It looks like we have a few thousand people listening right now.
Tony, Ament is going to Gitmo this stat line right here, isn't he?
Sure he is. Yeah, he's going to have
two free throws and then hits.
Get him some get him some confidence. It can't hurt.
Yep.
I mean, he needs everything right now because he has to be your second or leading scorer for this team to go far.
Yep.
I mean, it's good to have these role players, but Ament just can't be a role player with what this roster is. He has to be. Him and Gillespie have to be your leading guys.
If he's a role player, Matt, you know what that is? It's called a problem where I come from.
That's called you're getting bounced the first week, probably the first game.
You have no chance.
As like a 6 or 7 seed.
Yeah, you have zero chance. Yeah. Is that YouTube live, sweetie? I don't see it. It's weird. Let me go under live. Oh, there it is.
Arkansas is damn good too.
Screen on. Yeah, they're pretty good.
They've got a ton of pieces.
I love, obviously, that A-Cuff kid. Now, he went off today, but he's been damn good all year for him. And, Matt, they're so unsound and so poorly coached. They probably should have hammered us today with some of the stuff that went on,
Well, I just think it was kind of a high-level game between two pretty good, but big athletic and talented teams. Each team did a bunch of things really well, and each team had a bunch of mistakes too. But I thought for the most part, it was a pretty high-level game.
You saw what Coach
with athletes
Dykes saw.
making plays.
You saw what Coach Dykes saw.
No, I haven't seen. I haven't seen enough NASCAR cuts. Use Fugazi.
Is he using Fugazi now?
Yeah, he's like a 60-year-old man and acted like he didn't know what the term Fugazi meant until Cal used it in practice the other day.
Oh no, this freaking guy. He's so nerdy.
Ugh. Yeah, he described somebody's play as unique, uncommon, and something else. It's basically used three words that all meant the same thing. And it was like, what are you? Just shut up.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Tennessee loses at Arkansas. The final, 86-75. Tennessee falls to 10-4 on the season, 0-1 in SEC play. Look, we knew, and that's the fourth time Tennessee started in league play with Arkansas, and they're now 1-3 in those games. We knew that was going to be a handful for the Vols. We knew it was going to take better play than they've shown in recent weeks, and the Vols just aren't there yet to win a game like that. Some really encouraging things happened today in the game. Some really discouraging things happened in the game. It's Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, presented by Marcos Garza, the Garza Law Firm. Your panel for this post-game excursion is Matt Diskin, a.k.a. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, and also Alex Myers, who will be hosting from time to time throughout the basketball season as he has. And to both of you guys, I wish you a great Saturday. It's great to talk to both of you. Alex, I start with you. Your thoughts on what we witnessed.
Yeah, I mean, kind of predictable. Welcome to the SEC play. The officials were in midseason form already. Doug Shows was doing Doug Shows things. But Tennessee lost this game at the free throw line. Too many turnovers, too many missed opportunities at the free throw line, and it's concerning because unlike turnovers, which you can clean up, if you're a bad free throw shooting team, you're likely going to be a bad free throw shooting team all game or all year long. Really encouraged by the play of Evans, discouraged by Ament's play. I do think a lot of it's mental, so perhaps a couple buckets, a couple made free throws there at the end of the game, perhaps if that can kind of help get him on the right track. But, if we're being honest, fellas, Evans looks like the best freshman on the team right now. And I don't know that there's really much debate if you're talking about on this date in history. And then a little bit disappointed by the bigs play. I thought Estrella was a little soft tonight. Couple opportunities to get some rebounds, and I didn't think he played real tough down low. And Carey, this was a game. He's going to be fine 9 out of 10 games, but against a team that's that lengthy and that athletic, it's just problematic because at 6'8", he's just not athletic enough to finish a lot of those shots and kind of play bully ball. So a lot to take. There's certainly some negatives, certainly some positives, but disappointed because this one should have been a closer game if you just hit some free throws.
Well, we've got a caller there that's been hanging on since like 5 minutes to go, or 5 minutes into the second half. So speaking of negative, hey, Matt, your thoughts on what we witnessed, and we go to the phones. Just give me a couple takeaways, and we go to the phones.
Yeah, echo a lot of what Alex said. I actually thought you kind of played pretty well for stretches of the game. Both teams did. Obviously, a lot of mistakes, but that's what college basketball is. But you saw a lot of really good plays, a lot of hustle plays by both teams, some talented guys. I've said before, Arkansas's got the highest march upside of any team in the SEC.
Yeah,
they've got a bunch of dudes, a much more talented team than Tennessee. Didn't expect to win, but come away encouraged by Evans. But to just gave the game away at the free throw line. I mean, he got kind of silly there the last 5 or 6 minutes with some turnovers and they made some shots. But if you make your free throws, that game comes down to the wire, and you have a chance to win. So that's obviously really frustrating to be that poor from the free throw line.
Yeah, Tennessee outplayed Arkansas when you look at the numbers in just about every aspect of the game. They shot the ball better, 49% to 42%. They shot 38% from three-point land to their 30%. Arkansas shot 88% from the foul line to Tennessee's 52%. Both teams turned the ball over 14 times. Tennessee had 13 points off turnovers. They had 17. The Vols were out-rebounded 36-33, which is not a number you can live with when you're on the road. Second chance points, Vols 14 to their 13. Bench points, they outscored Tennessee by 2, 35-33. Again, numbers you can live with. Points in the paint, 44-32 in favor of Tennessee. But the foul shot deal, if they don't clean that up, they're not going to win. This team does not do enough things well compared to past Rick Barnes teams, and they don't defend real well. They do not defend real well. The guards do not. They were having trouble keeping Arkansas's guards in front of them. Now, look, we saw a freshman today in Akoff on an all-time heater. He had 29, and if they would have featured him, he could have gone for 40. If they would have featured him, I would have featured him.
They did feature him.
I would have featured him.
Up.
He would have shot more than 16 shots. He would have shot. Hey, Matt. Hey, Matt. He got 16 shots. He should have shot more than 16 shots when you're going like that. Let's go to the phones.
He could barely walk there in the second half.
Well, that's a good point too.
No, he's special.
Mm-hmm. To the phones we go. 865-200-5402. Let's see who that first caller was that got there like an hour ago. The early bird gets the worm, or whatever that saying is. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. Dave.
Hey, welcome in.
You got to have guards, man. You got to have.
That's right.
He can't recruit offensive players. None of the guys can shoot.
Today the problem was.
Hell, Gillespie was a 40% three-point shooter before he got here.
Today the problem was on defense.
The problem with Gillespie is, guys, he's having to do it all. He's having to be the point guard and the two guard. So he's got all the pressure on him instead of trying to shoot open looks. What open three looks did we have? Maybe a couple.
Yep.
I mean, and is Alex there?
Yeah, he's right here.
Hey, Alex, a good old favorite movie of mine. It's not a very old movie. It's called Moneyball. And Billy Bean asked, well, if he can hit, then why doesn't he hit good? Amen. If he can shoot, why doesn't he shoot good? He can't shoot.
Alex?
He can't shoot. I don't care about his confidence. I mean, his confidence is gone, and he's done. I mean, he's just done. Let him come back. This guy's a bust.
Oh, come on, Dave. Come on now. It's one SEC basketball game. There's a full season in front of us. Come on now.
Tony, I've watched 14 games.
Dave, come on. Can't call the guy a bust.
This guy is shooting below 35% from the field.
Yes, he's struggling.
And 27% from three.
Yes, he's struggling.
Struggling.
Matt, are you concerned about him, or is it too early?
No, it's obviously very concerning, and it's certainly trending in the way that Dave is talking about, and has been, and it's obviously concerning. You've got to have Ament become one of your two go-to scorers for this team to do anything of substance this season. And he's just not there yet. And can he get there? I mean, yeah, he can. The odds continue to go down by each passing game that he's not going to get there, but just kind of you just got to hope he can figure it out, and he's tough enough mentally to play through all this.
If he plays that small like he did
it's
today,
just tough for those guys that just aren't big, physicality wise to thrive in this league. It's just so hard to do it.
That's why it's so weird that his head coach would feel the need to spend all that money on him. It's just really and the head coach, man, fell in love with him and spent that money on him. And I wonder if he would have gone to Duke like he could have. I wonder what his role would be at Duke right now.
He'd be averaging 5 or 6, 5 points a game.
I think he'd be playing very little. I think that's right. I think he'd be on the floor very little for them.
And he wouldn't even be. You would have to look in the box score for his name. His name, he would just be another player at Duke.
Yeah,
he'd be a role player, but he could at least grow into that role, and
yeah.
he wouldn't have a lot on his plate.
Yeah,
though,
that's right, Matt. He's got a lot on his plate.
That's our
here.
problem is we don't have the luxury for him to be the third option or to grow into the season.
That's exactly
right. He has
right.
to be the top guy, and that's the bigger issue.
Great point, Matt.
What about Amari Evans, David? Are you at least encouraged about him?
Oh, you know why? Do you know why Amari Evans can play like that? Because he's physically ready to play. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. He's physically mature. He's already got the body of a college player. He's not a pencil. And he's getting more and more. I'd give all the minutes. I'd give Evans all Amos minutes. The guy was 7 of 7 from the field and 1 of 1 from 3 tonight.
Dave, you're not wrong about him being physically ready, but that's a mental and confidence issue too with him, because Evans comes in cold off the bench, and he looked like at the time when he came in that first half, guys, it looked like he was the one guy that wanted to be out there in that moment. That was a guy who was not afraid, was not intimidated. To me, he is physically there. You're right, Dave, but to me, mentally, he kind of looked like the one guy that had a little dog in him out there tonight.
He is a Rick Barnes player. You can tell already. He's got what Rick Barnes wants. He's tough. Yep. He's going to be able to. He's built like Grant Williams, maybe just a little bit shorter than Grant Williams. He's got. I mean, he's a top 50 kid out of high school, so he should be pretty good. But what's killing this team is free throw shooting.
Yes.
Kerry can't be on the field. He can't be on the floor in crunch time because he can't shoot threes. He was wide left tonight on a free throw. He didn't even draw iron.
It's a problem. I mean, Dave's got a point, Matt. It's a problem. The foul shooting thing, you just can't win basketball games like that.
It wasn't limited to just Kerry tonight.
No, it wasn't just Kerry. No, you're exactly right, Matt.
What was Ament from the line? Like 5 of 11?
Yeah, he was not good either. And look, he's going to continue to go to the line. And here's the other thing about Ament, because the book's going to be out on him. People are getting physical with him, which is something that I predicted in the blog yesterday, that Arkansas was going to put hands on him, was going to force him to play in traffic because the book's out on him. And he goes out today, and from the line, where is his he's 5'11" from the foul line. Not going to work. And minimum, he's got to be 8 for 11 from the foul line, minimum.
And Barnes just gave him the kiss of death a day before yesterday, saying that he is going to be unbelievable down the stretch.
Oh, Barnes wants to believe, and he might just be unbelievable down the stretch, Dave. Season's young, man. Season's young.
Well,
I mean, I trust Rick Barnes. Do you trust him or no? He's only been doing it for 45 years. I mean, he ought to have a pretty
I don't trust him on the offensive end of the floor, Tony. I never have.
Yeah, but he ought to have a pretty good feel for this guy's going to get here. Now, he might be wish casting. I don't know. But
Tony, for the life of me, they knew they needed a 2 guard.
Sure.
They tried.
They had Isaac McNeely.
They could have got the kid that's leading Vanderbilt in scoring right now for $1 million.
Anybody could have gotten him, Dave. Nobody got him. I mean, I don't know what to say. It'd be like saying somebody could have gotten Jacoby Thomas. I mean, obviously, when he's out there hammering people in the
what's that kid's name that's at Vanderbilt? He's a 6-year player. Can play defense.
Yeah,
he's only about 6'2". I can't think of his name.
The other kid they could have gotten was the Tyson kid that washed out at North Carolina. He wanted to come here, and he's going off at Minnesota right now. But look, I appreciate the call, and he's a kid that I think played at Belmont with Gillespie before he went over to North Carolina, and he washed out there. And Tennessee could have had him for cheap. But look, man, hindsight's always 20/20. Dave, thanks for the call. 865-200-5402. I mean, the Vols, even had 24 fast break points to their 18. You know another hidden difference, Matt, in this game that has me kind of concerned is how many shots we had blocked tonight. Not only did we miss a bunch of easy shots close, but we had way too many shots blocked tonight, Matt. That's got to change.
Yeah, well, it's the first time all year that's really happened.
Yeah.
And it's a long, athletic, and big team. So, that's not going to be the norm. But I thought it was crazy how many they were blocking, and not help defenders, but
yes,
just straight up recovery. And a lot of times you get teams that go for all these blocks like that. You wind up giving up wide open layups, backdoor, and we didn't get hardly any of those either. I mean, that was really impressive for them to defend the rim like that and block so many shots and not have us be able to recover and steal a basket or two. That's more of an anomaly than probably anything else.
Vols lose 86.
Certainly worth monitoring, against the bigger teams.
Sure. Vols lose 86-75. Somebody said in the chat, hey, Tony, Arkansas's got one of the top offensive teams in the country. When I said earlier that our guards couldn't stay with them, that's what I meant. I wasn't. I know Arkansas's got a great offensive team by the numbers, but just as an observation, past Tennessee teams were better guarding at 1 and 2. This Tennessee team is struggling to keep people in front of them, and they have this season. As I go back to the phones, that's indisputable, by the way, and it continued today. I realize Arkansas's got a high-powered scoring team. Let's get our next call in. Hi, welcome in. It's Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, presented by Marcus Garza and your Garza Law Firm. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up, guys? Josh, you boys.
Hey, Josh.
Do you guys think, since Barnes has been here at Tennessee, this is probably one of the most softest teams he's had?
I mean, they're not, to this point, they're not one of his tougher groups. I would have to say that's true, yes.
Yeah. So I'm at the point, Tony, where I'm going to say now I would rather have Amari Evans on the floor over Ament, getting Ament's minutes. Because you know what you're going to get out of Amari Evans. He gives you toughness, he's going to hustle for the ball, and he's going to score some points. Thoughts?
Matt, I mean, it's a little too early to talk like that, but I was really pleased with what Amari Evans did in a very hostile environment. That was extremely impressive, Matt.
Yeah, and I think you can play them both. You got to play both of them.
Yes.
You can't give up on Ament. That's just kind of crazy to do because he's the key to your season. Whether it turns out well or not, you kind of have to rely on him based on just what you have. But I do think Evans' emergence is by far the biggest, surprise and good thing that's happened these last two games. And he's a guy that, I mean, he looks confident out there. He got a really good skill set. He can score at the rim, can get in transition. I'm really impressed by what he's done these last two games, and to do it today against that team in that spot has to be big for his confidence.
No doubt.
Yeah. Do you guys know what the record is when Tennessee has more than 11 turnovers?
I don't.
Win, loss, wise?
I don't. Do you?
No.
No, I don't.
Yeah. So I don't know if people know, but usually in SEC openers, especially on the road, going back since Pearl so Tennessee has not been great on the road starting out in openers.
Yeah, and Barnes has this thing where he's had past teams that have started 1-3 before and then dug their way out of it. So,
right.
This particular group here, these guys are going to have to get a little more sound in just the little things, or they're going to have trouble winning games on the road.
We shouldn't panic. That's why I said that, because this team can still win 10-11 league games.
Sure they could. Absolutely. It's going to be a wide-open year in the league. And the good thing is, the great news is, who has a great team? I mean, I'll tell you who doesn't have a great team, Matt, is that Kentucky bunch. Matt, can you imagine spending $24 million on your roster and looking like that, Matt? You put all your eggs into that basket, and you look like that?
really impressive. That's a team that plays hard, plays together, does a lot of things well. Really, really, really fundamentally sound. Great team they have. Just ran into a buzzsaw today.
He's a great hire.
That team blows.
They blow. No, that's all.
They do.
That team's about 3 or 4 more early losses in league play from checking out.
You said it, I didn't, but you are exactly right. That team better get it in gear, Matt, or they're going to get their ass run over because they're going to quit. Because that's what happens when you go the mercenary route.
Hey, Tony, one last thing out the door. Do you think the Vols should definitely practice more free throw shooting? You'll have a great night with Big Orange.
Thank you. I don't know. Obviously, they practice foul shooting. I mean, I don't know. At some point, it becomes mental and it becomes catching. You hope it goes away soon. Because as Alex, as you said, as somebody, and you play the game, Alex, as somebody that plays that game, you don't want that creeping into your vibe, you know?
Well, no, because it becomes all you think about. And then the other thing is,
that's right.
If you're not careful, it can affect how you play. Because if you're a player that really doesn't want to be in that spot, especially on the road with the crowd going, doesn't really want to have that pressure on you on a free throw, well, I might pull up instead of taking this to the rim because I'm not really interested in getting contact. So it's very concerning. And like I said earlier, unfortunately, I mean, you can improve as a free throw shooter, but if as a team you're not a good free throw shooting team, chances are you're not going to be a good free throw shooting team the entire year. And that's what's kind of more concerning for me right now.
865-200-5402. The other thing today that really killed the Vols was missing layups. They had point-blank looks, and they were just having trouble. But, yeah, the missing the one-and-ones as well is just killer. I mean, when Ament missed that one-and-one when it's still a basketball game, I mean, you can't.
And they made like 3-and-1s in like a 5-minute stretch there in the second half too. They made all their free throws.
Wasn't meant to be.
I think they were plus 17 at the free throw line, which you're not going to. No. I think they only had 10 more attempts than you, which is kind of expected on the road. But to lose by 17 points at the free throw line, it's hard to overcome that when you have the offensive deficiencies this team does.
865-200-5402. And then I want to have a note about Estrella as we continue, and then we'll get some calls in. But we'll continue on the other side. Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime. We'll get you back to this episode of Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, presented by Marcos Garza and your Garza Law firm, online at garzalaw.com. Don't you dare trust one of these carpetbagger, fly-by-night attorney groups that's come in here from Florida, Alabama, etc. You're going to trust the Garza Law firm, folks that live, work, worship, grocery shop with you, are a part of your community, are a part of us, are of the earth. Trustworthy, honest, legal representation, treating clients like family, available 24/7 at garzalaw.com. Don't you dare trust one of those carpetbaggers. Shout out to our friends at T3 Vodka. Score you a T33 every time with Tennessee's premium vodka. Make it a 2026 resolution, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka, taking the volunteer state by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. 5-time gold medal winning vodka, 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner, and no doubt in the running in 2026 once again. Score a T33 and ask for T3 by name at your restaurants, your wine and liquor stores. Drink it neat, drink it right. T3 Vodka, hit T33 every single time. Distributed by Athens Distributing, and please drink responsibly. Shout out to Waterside Contracting. Got a dream about building? Waterside Contracting's been making dreams come true for over a quarter century and counting. Hundreds in our area. Custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting. If you want to build on your lot, they'll do incredible work for you. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the website, watersidecontractingllc.com, or see the link over at tclub.team. Quality without compromise, Waterside Contracting. When it's time for a fresh coat, you're going to run. Don't walk to Walker's Painting. You going to run. But you're not going to hide, because they've been making it beautiful since 1999. that's gone on 27 years of serving the Living Volunteers. Free estimates available. Mention you heard about it here on Garza Law Tennessee Basketball Overtime, and it's 10% off your first job. So let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting. See the ad in the blog over at tclub.team. And on the way out, I want to remind you, when it's time to play, it's time for VIP play. Why? Because everybody gets treated like a VIP over at VIP play. Claim your VIP play welcome bonus. You bet for $20, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. The promo code and the phrase that pays is T and Tony. They're live always, 200 plus leagues. All the college hoops you can stand, NBA, NHL, you name it, they've got it. VIP play, live always with 200 plus leagues, numerous bet types, props, options, and if you have a bet in mind and it's compliant within the state of Tennessee, the VIP players, well, they'll make it for you. That's why everybody gets treated like a VIP at VIP play. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the state of Tennessee to place a bet, VIP play. Speaking of VIPs, we got some folks that want to talk. We'll get back to them. It is your Garza Law Tennessee Basketball Overtime as we come back, and we, ladies and gentlemen, bring it back, and let's hear what's on the phone lines. Take it away here at Garza Law Tennessee Basketball Overtime. And to the phone lines we go, right on cue. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony, what's
Yes.
up, brother?
Hey, welcome in, Rich.
Hey, I'm on speaker. Should I take it off?
No, you sound great.
Is Brian in there? I got a question for Brian.
No,
first.
Brian. No, Brian. I got Alex and I got Matt. Brian has
Alex.
Brian has a day off.
Alex, how long was Nega Doofus on hold?
Tony said 5 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, he was on hold.
What
for
a
about, he was on,
loser!
He was on hold for about an hour.
What a loser! Tony, you have the button. You have the power of the button this evening. Sometimes Alex has it. Dude, when he says stupid stuff, please just give him the button, please. Listen.
He already was on.
Yeah. What? So Acuff's the number 7 player in the rankings I saw. Amen finished 4?
Yeah.
The one kid went to BYU. He's a badass. I mean,
yep.
Listen, Bud Walton Arena is probably, I'd say, top 5 toughest arenas in the country to play basketball in. Would you agree with that?
No question. No question.
I mean, for a moron to get on here and say, you know, he's a bust, like, I mean, that's just moronic stuff to say. This team, I think, Tony, might be one of his toughest, and I think might end up being one of his best.
I don't think they're I don't think they're tough. They don't guard. They don't defend like past Tennessee teams. When I think of toughness in a Rick Barnes basketball team, I think of, do you defend? Because that's how he defines his teams. And this team does not strike me as tough. Now, they could grow into that.
I think they just lack physicality a lot more than toughness.
And that's the point. The point.
Yeah, you took a big step back in toughness without Ziegler and Mayshak, but
that's
I mean,
the point,
Ament and Estrella.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're just not physically imposing. I mean, besides Kerry, you don't really have that.
And here's the issue with Estrella, too, on the defensive end, and I'm just going to share this with you as a Sixer fan. I'm watching a guy in Joel Embiid that's got bad wheels and who's been kind of beat up, just like Estrella's been kind of beat up. Living Vol fan, you're going to have to live with the ball hitting the ground or him not getting the rebounds. It's a part of it. The trade-off with playing him is going to be that on the defensive end, he's not going to be able to get to some balls, and it's going to really frustrate you. So get ready for it, because you kind of have what you have in him. Trust me, as somebody that watches the 76ers, it's extremely frustrating. But Estrella is very good on offense, but on defense, he is going to struggle. He just is.
Then if there's a trade-off, Tony, then why don't we allow him and encourage him to take advantage of that skill set on offense. Like today, it took a guy literally falling down on the floor for him to take an open three, which he then proceeded to pass up the rest of the game. And it's the Rick Barnes offense. I get it. But, like, if you've got guys that can shoot, and there's this trade-off, and all I've heard about how good he is and he can extend the floor, if you're never going to let him take that shot or encourage it, then why is he out there? And I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but my point is that especially we don't have enough two guards. We all know that. We struggle to get enough shots.
Are you talking about why is Estrella out there?
Allow him to take advantage of that.
No, what he means is why don't they feature him more? And he's got a good point, man.
Feature Estrella more.
Sure. Feature him on offense. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did see him try to yam one on a guy from nearly the free throw line, and he almost made the damn thing.
Yep.
You know, and Jimmy Dykes played at Arkansas. Could he not have done another game? Like,
he loves the Vols, dude. Jimmy Dykes is
no.
Yeah.
Unless they're playing Arkansas, obviously. I mean, I'm we played horrible, and I get it. Tony, if Bruce Pearl would have stayed here, we would have already won a national title, I feel like. But, I mean, because Barnes, I'm not going to sit here and argue. Like, I think Barnes is, he's tough and hard-nosed, and, he is an amazing coach. However, he gets on these guys, I think, too much, and a lot of times these guys are not playing free, and and he's just going to have to, hopefully in his last years here coaching, he's just going to let these guys play. But listen, Ament is the best player we've ever recruited at Tennessee, and he's not a bust. Okay, this kid went into one of the toughest gyms in the country and had a bad day. But also, they literally tried to give them two balls where the guy's sitting there looking right at the Arkansas guy, tipped the ball out of bounds, and he tries to give them the basketball. Like, it was just ridiculous. Barnes is going to have to get in somebody, in a referee, a zebra, whatever you want to call him. He's going to have to get in somebody's grill this year and give us a fighting chance. Go Big Orange. Tony, I'm going to make a bet with Nega Dave right here, right now. When we go to the Elite Eight, Nega Dave, you will never call this show ever again.
No, you can't. No, you're not doing it. Sammy,
go Vols.
Sammy, you and I have had this conversation. You're not taking people off the air, big boy. I'll host, you'll call, and I'll decide. You ain't taking people off the air, Sammy. This is not
Coach Dykes actually said Barnes got close to getting a technical today during the game.
This is not Soviet task, Sammy. You don't get to decide who comes on and who doesn't come on. This is not an echo chamber, you clown. And I love you, and I love your show, and I love your passion, and I love Dave's passion. I love that we can congregate here, but, this ain't fan-on-fan crime. Hey, Matt, stupid question. Has Barnes ever gotten a technical since he's been here? Because I don't remember it.
There was one game against Kentucky where he got a technical just because Calipari got one. It might have been the very first year he was here. He's probably gotten two or three, but besides that one against Kentucky, I can't really think of another time specifically. There's that. What game was it? Was it last year where he threw the water bottle on the court?
Yes.
And they didn't tee him up because that's how bad of a call that they made. That they let him throw a water bottle. But I mean, he gets on the officials. Steve's
sure
been
he
great
does.
Talked about it with the iPad and how they do all that. Barnes gets on the officials pretty well.
I wish our head football
I actually
coach.
think he lets they've been playing a lot more freer these last 2 or 3 years. I think he's opened that up a considerable amount here recently.
There's no way in his first couple of years that he would have put up with Dalton Connect, Matt. Case closed. I mean, let's get real. He has let it be a lot more free. So we'll go back to the phones at 865-200-5402 if you want to get in the hunt and in the mixing and the hunt with us. And look, I wanted to make that point about Estrella as I did going to the break. You're going to get a little bit of everything from him this year. He's well worth playing. He is a really nice offensive player. And the 3-ball he shot tonight that Al was talking about was pure as a driven snow. And he needs to shoot more. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Zach in E-Town. What is up, guys?
Hey, Zach. Welcome in, buddy.
Hey. To use Jimmy Dykes' motif, Sammy just tried to put Dave into the wall there.
Sure did. He played the NASCAR defense on him, didn't he?
He ran that. I'll tell you what, when the green flag dropped today, we were out front, but we had some massive trouble.
Jimmy's hard to take, boy.
I'll tell you what, if I heard NASCAR. Now tell me if I'm not mistaken, that little curl pin where they pinned down they pinned down our guys and brought that dude around into the paint. That was a play we used to run with Gainey. Am I mistaken?
Correct. No, that is a Barnes play. Yes, Barnes and the thing about Barnes and Cal is they approach the game so similarly. That's why they get along. It's why those games are always interesting. If you think back to some of the Kentucky-Tennessee classics, those two guys know how to attack each other. No doubt about it.
Well, I'll say this. 5 minutes and 17 seconds is not acceptable. That's how long of a scoring drought we had. And I don't know if Sammy's got an 8-minute stock or something, but
Sammy!
This is just not feeling right.
No. He does not look like a franchise top 5 franchise 5-star player. He just does not.
And what gets me is, like, when you look at, and I'm not saying I know everything, but after the Duke scrimmage, I called in and I was like, I think both Amari Abram and I said the Amaris looked good. I mean, now it looks like Evans might be emerging, but they still both look good. But the kid Acuff from Arkansas,
yes,
if you look at him, he looks like a guy you wouldn't want to fight. Now, if you look at Ament, he looks like a guy you would fight.
You would whip him.
I'm not saying you wouldn't want to fight him, but
Alex's point about Abram is exactly that, or about Evans rather is exactly that. You look at him and go, he's a playable player. Or Negative said it earlier, and you know what?
Mm-hmm.
He's right.
Yeah.
You look at Ament, and you look at a guy who gets the ball taken from him. You look at a guy that has trouble on the defensive end holding his spot.
Yep.
You look at a guy who's wildly talented. There's no doubt about that. But these teams in this league, it's one thing we know about this style of play in this league. They're going to take a kid like him, and they're really going to beat on him. And if he doesn't make his foul shots, he's going to really struggle. He needs to shoot 80% from the line because he's just not going to get clean, uncontested looks. They're going to grab him. People are going to put hands on him because he's so little. Our opponents are going to teach that. And if it's not officiated, now at home you might foul some teams out when they're doing it. But
maybe
when you go on the road in this league, man, you know that they're going to beat the hell out of him, like he got beat on today.
Well, I don't know what can be done. This team, I swear to God, this team could go win every game at home and lose every game on the road. I almost think.
I think that's very, very possible.
I'm not even kidding.
No, I am not kidding at all. They don't do enough little things to this point well. They just don't. Now, they have high-end ability. I mean, Matt, do you agree with that? They just don't do enough little things to win road games at this point. Now, maybe they will grow into that. But to win in an environment like that, that's going to be really hard for this team.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't make your free throws and you have all the turnovers, which granted you actually kind of came out even in the turnovers, which is kind of a net win against that offense who just never turns it over. But your margin for error, becomes so much smaller because this team's not a great shooting team. So but I think they do enough. I mean, that was that's one of the maybe the second or third toughest road game you'll play all year.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, that was what was so frustrating was when we had a chance. We were up 58-55, and we just on the road or away from the Tommy Bowl, we have not been able to hit that fourth gear or fifth gear when we have a 2 or 3 point lead. We just always give it up.
Well, you made the point. There were 2 scoring droughts in the game, and any time you have the scoring droughts this team has, and it's going to be, I think, is going to be prone to that by the way they're built. And then Barnes does this thing, and he's doing it this year, and I don't know what he's doing, but they're playing too many guys.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And they're
10 guys, 11 guys.
They got crazy combinations on the floor. Matt talked about it. Look, it's one thing to buy time for Gillespie, but, man, you got to have some you got to have 2 guys out there that can score. You can't have one scorer on the floor.
And a plot.
It's weird.
And, Tony, one more thing.
Yeah.
Nick, you know how like they used to do walk-out songs or, for baseball players?
Oh,
yeah. For Nick Pringle, if they had a walk-up song for him, I would be like, it would be Ace. How Long by Ace. Because how long has he been in college basketball?
Amen
Seems like he's
that.
during Grant Admiral years. I'll see you guys.
Thank you. It always seems like Arkansas has got a Nick Pringle type guy. Matt, the combinations at times in this game were very weird, and they seem to follow the the scoring droughts, the playing around with the lineups.
Yeah, I mean that Arkansas went on that 11-0 run when Gillespie was out of the game. You tried to steal a few too many minutes without Gillespie there in the middle of the second half, and it just killed you. I think you had 2 or 3 straight possessions where you turned it over. And it would have been another one had they not overturned the call. And then Gillespie's the one that ended the drought with that top of the key 3.
Yes.
So yeah, it's still a little early in league play. That I think that stuff works itself out by the end. But you've got to make sure it doesn't cost you games, because that will affect what you do in March. But I think it's not I actually think it's probably a good thing that you still have these many guys that you play, compared to what it used to be, where we'd have like literally a 7 or 8 man rotation and there'd be just no wiggle room.
If they can play, Matt, if they can score, if they can keep it up, it can become a curse if you throw those guys out there and, they'll go 4 minutes without scoring. But
eventually. And that's why they've got to identify when those guys go in the first half, whether they're going to be able to function in that game or not. And if they're not, you can't have them out there, especially in the second half. And that's what they need to hone in on. But it's not a big issue right now. I think it's kind of a strength, to be honest. But the stuff. I mean, not when you can't function offensively without your point guard out there.
Right.
I mean, you're just going to really struggle when Gillespie's off the floor.
865-200-5402 is the numero do. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us, let's go back to the phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. It's Mark in Dallas calling from Fayetteville.
Hey, Mark in Dallas calling from Fayetteville. What was it like in there today?
I mean, it's not that it's an indictment, because, it's a road game and, they're excited about Calipari, so it's a tight ticket. But that's probably the least amount of orange, I think, in any venue for a Tennessee men's basketball game ever.
It was
like on my way
quiet
into the building.
Yep, it was noticeably
maybe
quiet.
A half hour or so before the game started. And the way in the building, I didn't see anybody in orange. That's never happened before, ever. And then walking the concourse, there was one guy with a peach-colored shirt. Wow. So I thought I saw 0, and then he turned out to be a Tennessee guy.
Wow.
But if we had 40 people, I didn't see all of them. And I couldn't see all of them because of where I'm sitting.
Well, Marcus,
if we had 40 people besides the official travel party, I didn't see them.
When the Vols were making buckets, you couldn't hear anything. Like, it didn't sound like there was even a smattering of our fans in there. And you've got a great point. Look, they've been waiting. This Cal era, they're all bought in, obviously. I don't think he's going to deliver. We saw him at Kentucky. I'm selling the Cal era personally. But he certainly has a really talented team. And if this Acuff guy continues to grow, and you look at guys like Brazil and Knox, and I mean, they've got some. The Richmond kid's a nice player. They've got a lot of high-end talent. They could play ball late in the March with this club.
Yeah, and he usually has his teams like those 2 years, like late in the Kentucky run maybe that's the anomaly. Since they did pretty good last year in March, he usually has his teams playing their best ball at the end of the year. But his last few years at Kentucky, that obviously wasn't the case.
That's right. He's a process guy generally, and that got away from him at Kentucky. You're right.
Our freshman, so Amen. I mean, I agree with you that it's there's still half a season left. Like, we'll decide at the end of the year what we think of what we thought the year went for our guy that is very well compensated. But I'll say that if he's not making his free throws, then offensively he's a more versatile Okpara with more field goal attempts. Like, he's going to dribble around better than Okpara. But other than that, he scores like Okpara, but with more field goal attempts if he's not making his free throws. Unless things turn. Things could still turn.
Oh, listen, it is way early. It is way early in the process. But the thing that's disappointing about him to me is his body language. And I'll bet you being at that game today, not only did he look in his head, he does not look like a kid that, I don't want to say wants it. I don't want it to sound that way.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look like he wants it. And what I mean is, he doesn't look like he wants to be in that spot. You would think a kid of that repute, just with the reputation he's had, would be more of a give me the ball guy. And he's not. He's just not that to this point.
They were on him from the start, the Arkansas fans. Now, I've heard louder than that as far as targeted booing of one player, but I want to say that Arkansas was also one of the last few schools trying to get him.
Yes.
So maybe I'm guessing that's why they were booing him. But they were on him, I guess, more the students than anybody else. But they were booing Ament from the start, and he had a good throwdown dunk early in the game. And, but then that's kind of all it was. Like, he had his first three in the side wasn't even close. I thought it grazed the rim. The crowd decided it was an air ball, and that was what mattered because that seemed to really affect him going forward. And, like, right after he was way off on the three, he got to the foul line, and they were all just yelling air ball, air ball. And it was everything you just said as far as how much he looked like he wanted to be out there, and he missed the first free throw, he missed the second free throw, and we were off and running.
Matt, do you agree with that? That's the thing that's really kind of weird about him is how he just looks so, I don't even know if unconfident's the word, but it's almost like he doesn't want the ball. He should want the ball, man. He's got to want the ball.
He gets the ball. His usage rate and shot rate are really high. He just, I mean, he doesn't have any confidence right now. That's kind of obvious, but I'm not sure I agree. I just think the guy just isn't playing well right now, and we have such high expectations for him that it's just hard to see any positives in him right now because of all the struggles.
I'm with Matt.
Arkansas does single out an opponent every game to do that too. It's one of the things that makes that a tough place.
Yeah,
the last couple of years it had been Vescovi, but that was good on them for doing it to Ament because that's a guy that's obviously struggling and a freshman, and it probably did affect him.
They're very, very.
That's a good callback, Matt. I forgot that Arkansas does that. You pointed that out. Past trips to Fayetteville.
Yep, they're great hoops fans, man. You're seeing a special thing. Go ahead, Al.
Well, I'm with Matt. I think he's taken plenty of shots. One thing I would like to see, like it's one thing if he's getting that little 10 to 15 foot high release shot to go, then let him ISO and do it. But I feel like when a guy's struggling, you got to help him out a little bit. And to me, we don't run enough to set him up. Like thinking back tonight, how many times did we see the ball just swing around and then Ament gets the ball and then it's just kind of like, okay, go take this guy, get to the 15-foot mark, turn around, pivot, and rise up and try to hit a contested jumper. Like, to me, I don't think we run enough to get him looks. I think we rely on his ability to rise up over guys a little too much. And like I said, if he's on, let him go, let him cook, let him see what he can do. But when he's struggling, I think you've got to do a little bit better job of getting him involved and finding him open looks versus just relying on him.
You know, that's kind of what I was trying to articulate. I like to see him getting downhill more, is my point. The settling for the 15-footer is not – you're not being aggressive enough. Get downhill, man. But then again, if he gets downhill more, Markey's going to be at the foul line, and the way he's going from the foul line, I'm not sure that's a good thing. So
that's the one thing he was really good at earlier in the season was getting to the foul line and making his free throws. He was a really good foul shooter when the season started, but missing the free throws, that didn't start tonight. That just seemed to start. That aspect of his game has gotten away from him, for now at least.
Which goes to show you how in his own head he is, because a couple of his foul shots tonight, and I'm sure you being in the building could see this, they weren't even close. It wasn't like they were in and out, and it's tough luck. And then the 1-3 ball Matt was talking about that he shot in the second half. I mean, damn, that thing wasn't even. That looked like me in my driveway. I mean, what are we doing? You got to make that shot, man.
It might be the battered Vol syndrome, as some people call it, but it seems like, and there's still half a season left.
Sure.
But it seems like, unless it's an in-state kid, if we beat a blue blood for a 5-star basketball player, it seems like we always end up with a decent to pretty good 4-star freshman with a 5-star label. Whereas if, like, he would have been another Cooper Flagg, then the blue blood is going to spend whatever it takes and get him.
Probably a great point by you. Probably. If he was what Barnes thought he was, probably Duke would have spent it to get him. That's probably
they would have come in over the top of it, as if we were at a poker table raising.
It's an interesting point.
They would have come in over the top of us and gotten him. And they wanted him as it was, but when it's like it's as if they saw us raise and were like, okay, we fold.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Yeah.
But didn't Duke offer more than Tennessee for him?
I don't know what the offer is.
I mean, if they did, that obviously changes. That knocks out that point.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the case. I hadn't heard that, Al. But you could be right. That could be the case.
I could be wrong. I thought I had heard that he went with a lower offer with Barnes, but I totally could be off on that.
Nothing at this point surprises me. But what Mark says, it does make you feel like, man, I wonder why we got that 5-star player, because very seldom does it work out for us. Going back to Matt, like the Duke Cruz days, who's the real last 5-star Matt that was really, really well? Kennedy Chandler was really good, no question about it.
But he's a point guard. This is a wing guy that is so skinny that, like, it shouldn't be surprising that he struggles. Like, I mean, it is the big issue, and then, not to give Dave credit, but I mean, Amen's not making shots. Yes. Like, if he can make some outside shots and get some points, like you could maneuver through some of the lack of physicality. But he's just so skinny that he was always going to be a developmental guy that, for whatever reason, Barnes just really wanted to have for 1 year. And that's not what wins in March, unfortunately. I mean, it's cool to have, but I mean, Jarnell Stokes, when he came in, was pretty good, but again, he was physically mature and ready to play at this level, and Amen just isn't.
Stokes is a good example. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I think then we also beat Duke for Triple J.
That's correct. He was a 5-star player Tennessee beat Duke for. That's
now, he was a nice player for us. He had a good. I think he had a good career for us. He just had that 5-star label. But the difference was, we ended up getting him for, I guess, 5 seasons. And he wasn't a 5-star label. We got like a 4-star player out of that for 5 seasons. But that, I mean, that worked out because, like, he wasn't good enough to get taken after year 1.
Yes.
So we ended up getting a decent player out of that for 5 years.
Yes.
But that's another example of, like, we beat the Blue Blood for the 5-star player, and we got Triple J. We didn't get Boozer.
Well, if you'll notice, And I don't know what to make of draft, whatever you call these projections. I don't know what to make of them, okay? I'm certainly not qualified. This guy's inability to have hands on him and play with hands on him has to scare them at that level. If I'm going to spend a high first-round pick, that's why the guy has fallen to like the bottom of the first round already. Not surprising.
Oh, is that right? Is he down? Is our guy down to the late first round?
He's falling, yeah, in some mocks, and not surprising. I mean, he's not going to play with hands on him. And at this deal here, they're going to put their hands on you in this league. They're going to get their hands on you and put your hands on him. So,
if he falls a few more spots, I mean, if he falls out of the first round, it would become goofy to leave.
Yep. Thank you, my man. Good talking to you.
You too, sir.
So somebody texted, or somebody in the group chat said, "Let's talk portal." I'm not doing that. So we're doing a basketball post-game show. It's called Garza Law Tennessee Basketball Overtime. We're here after every Tennessee basketball game, including the other one they played the other night. We mixed a little bit of basketball conversation into our bowl game to satisfy that need. We were on after the Duke scrimmage here. We were on all year. We've been on after all those, what we call that, Matt, the tour through quad 5. What were the quad 4 games, quad 5? Alex, you were in there for some of those.
Yeah, whatever the lowest quad is. They really needed a new quad for some of those teams.
Oh, my God, man. I mean, they found some of the dregs of society, and then the other dregs would say, "Hey, hold my beer. You think you saw the dregs? I'll show you the
Tony Vitello Memorial Quad."
As we continue with more, wherever Rhode Island baseball is, and if you were on that Rhode Island team, we will always remember you. We will never forget the Rhode Island Rams that came in here and one day on a snowy day, got beat 35-2. So we continue with more on the other side after this. We'll get you back on this episode of Garza Law Tennessee Basketball Overtime momentarily. Shout out to our friends at Garza Law. They're online at garzalaw.com. They are attorneys that care. Let us help. And they are live. They are local. They live among us. Don't you dare trust one of these out-of-towners, these carpetbaggers, these people that have bombed the area on our local airwaves. Garza Law, online at garzalaw.com. Whether it's DUI defense, criminal defense, personal injury, Social Security disability, or other aspects of the law, Garza Law has got you covered. They are a fabric and a fabric in this community. What is a fabric? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. My friends at Calhoun's are a part of the fabric of this community as well. They've been sponsoring us for over a quarter century. They have been celebrating at the Copper Cellar family of restaurants 50 years of serving the living volunteers. That's right, 50 years. Ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Calhoun's. The taste of Tennessee. Before or after the basketball game for the Vols and the Lady Vols. Also remember, great party platters when you're hosting. And remember, they also do takeout as well. They are the taste of Tennessee. You will taste the freshness. Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee. My friends at Connexion present Knoxville's Drive of the Game here on Garza Law Tennessee Basketball Overtime. The My 20 Drive of the Game. The transportation platform revolutionizing the trucking industry nationwide, right here out of beautiful Knoxville, downtown Knoxville. You take control of your fleet in 2026. You improve your safety scores. You make drivers happy. You maximize your profitability. You make it a winning year in 2026 with KONEXIAL. That's KONEXIAL.com. Put a /Tony on there. We get credit for it. Drive life with Connexion and go Vols go. And you talk about live and local. Josh Collins is a pillar in our local community. What a beautiful guy he is. Look, you can get insurance anywhere, but will you get the Collins insurance difference? Our entire studio in the Raymere studio is insured by Josh Collins and the Collins Insurance Agency. We count on him. We trust him. We've had a few lightning strikes here. They've always been quick to pay. You never know what's going to happen. You and I both know that. See the difference. Experience the difference collinsinsuranceTN.com. Also, want to shout out my friends at Alumni Hall. Ladies and germs, basketball season. The Vols and Lady Vols, they've got you covered. Also, when you're getting excited about Tennessee and the upcoming baseball season, they've got you covered. Doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter the season, whatever the reason. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping experience. 3 locations in Knoxville. Also Bristol, Johnson City, Murfreesboro, and anytime around this great world of ours at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall. Now let's get back to the action on Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Again, 865-200-5402 as we go back to the phones. A couple guys are dragging me. They're saying, but Tony, yesterday on your show, you promised you would do that. And look, maybe at the end, I've got a couple texts in. Maybe at the end, I'll give you an update of what we know. But in the meantime, let's go back to the phones. Needless to say, Tennessee's done a great job of upgrading their defensive coaching staff. The portal thing is going to be extremely interesting because, well, it's just completely, the finances of this thing are completely out of control. I don't understand why these schools don't sit down and bargain with these players and end all this. But they're not going to do it, so let's go back to the phones. And before we do, though, Matt's got one thing he wants to bring up in our discourse and our discussion as we talk about what else went on in the SEC today. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, well, I mean, the game of the day was in Athens, where Georgia held off Auburn in overtime. Auburn hit a crazy baseline jumper to send it to overtime, where they eventually fell, but Conzo White got the better of Stephen F. today.
Matt, wasn't that
down there in Athens?
Wasn't the guy put on the foul line to do that? Wasn't it like a 4-point play, or was I imagining that?
Yeah, it was a missed free throw.
Okay.
Yeah, a baseline jumper putback off a missed free throw.
Yep.
Yep. They were down 4, fouled a 3-point shooter.
Yep.
They missed. They made the first 2 free throws, missed the last free throw. It to me, it honestly kind of looked like a drawn up deal, but I don't want to give them too much credit. But the rebound goes out with 0.7 seconds, and then they tip it back in, and then somehow don't win it in overtime, even with that momentum. But at least Stephen F. and Pearl didn't try to fight the guy like that Notre Dame incident. Did you see that yesterday, Tony?
Tell me about it.
So Notre Dame is up 3, decides to foul, and the team they're playing has to go 94 feet, so they inbound it, get across half court, pull up for a 3, and it kind of was ticky-tack, but what are you doing at that point? So they foul, leading by 3 as the 3-point shooter's shooting it. So they then hit the 3, it's an and 1, and he hits the free throw. So they go from up 3 to, as time expires, losing by 1. And then the Notre Dame, the Shrewsbury, however you say that guy, the guy takes off and has to be restrained by half the arenas so he didn't get to the official. It was nuts.
Let's go.
Yeah, and it probably is a good teaching point for everybody because of the new continuation rules is why the guy was allowed to make the shot. Because I think they had tried to foul him right at midcourt and kind of whiffed on it. And then kind of the trail defender fouled him as right before he started shooting. But Fran Fraschilla was on Twitter getting specific about the rule and how they've gone to the more NBA continuation rule, and that the fouling up 3 late, teams have to be a little bit weary of that because it's a lot more lenient whether you can be in the act of shooting. So that's probably be a really good teaching point, but that was crazy. That guy's got a great 40 time because his get off was incredible on the sideline there.
Matt, can you imagine the way they struggle officiating at this level? How that's going to be when they give them a little liberal continuation as the year goes along?
Yeah, I'm sure it will cost a team's games a handful of times this year, just like it did Notre Dame there.
Very little doubt. That's true. I will go back to our phones. 865-200-5402 if you want to get in the hunt. and in the mix with us. Love to hear you. Love to hear from you. Love to talk to you. All lines are currently jammed. It's Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, it's TK in Upstate. How's it going?
Hey, welcome in, my friend. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's going to be a long season, it looks like. We just don't have any shooters, man. Like, the reason we're not hitting free throws is they're not hitting regular shots either. We just don't have anybody who can shoot the ball. We got one guy that can handle the ball, and it's going to be rough.
Yeah, look, if you can't consistently make shots, and to Tennessee's credit, they hung around today and they shot the ball pretty well. That wasn't the problem. But look, when you shoot 49% in somebody else's gym, you should walk out of there with a win. But you can't win when you miss half your foul shots in Division I basketball. Not going to work.
No, watching Carey shoot, it was like flashbacks. It was like Baby Shaq out there on a couple of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
I missed the very first part. Did anybody bring up some of the officiating in the first half? Did anybody bring up the 10-second call in the backcourt?
I thought the officials were bad for both teams in the first half. I thought early in the game there were a couple calls that went Tennessee's favor. There were a couple of actually Arkansas, I thought, got away with a couple of walks is what I meant to say. I'm sorry. I think that was home cooking this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that's what happens when you play on the road. What did you guys think of the 10-second call?
Go back and look at that 10-second call at the 14.
The 10-second call. I went back and timed it.
And what'd you?
I went back and timed that 10-second call because it did seem a little quick to me. I had it. I've got YouTube TV, so I was able to rewind it. Yeah. I had it about 8.5 seconds.
What?
Which
is significantly shorter.
I had it at 7, but yeah.
Wow, what a mess!
When he first raised his hands up, it was at 7 seconds.
What are we doing? Wow.
It was early enough that it made me go back and rewind it because I was like, "There's no way." I mean, I realized they're head counting, but at this point in major college basketball, why do we not have a light going off on shot clocks that they can just see in their periphery that says you're at 10 seconds? Why are we still head counting?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You're exactly right, and you bring up a great point. I did not realize, guys, it was that quick.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Like I said, I noticed it in real time. I kind of thought to myself, that seemed really early. And, of course, the announcers at, like, real-time 6 seconds were going 10 seconds, 10 seconds. But to be honest with you, I did think the officiating was pretty bad. However, I thought there were some bad calls that went against Arkansas as well. I thought for the most part, playing in that arena on the road in this league, it was about what you should expect. So I thought it was bad SEC officiating, but it wasn't necessarily unexpected. I just kind of think that's kind of what you're dealing with on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of the crews that your Reflex guy says that Barnes doesn't get a good whistle with?
I gotta check with Judd on that. Maybe Judd will call us and share with us what his.
But typically, you want Doug Shows when you're playing Calipari because they've always had heat, which makes it weird that Shows had that about me moment where he came running from half court to call that charge on Carey in front of Tennessee's bench. That was really strange.
I felt like there was a 3-play sequence there. They got a ticky-tack foul. We had the dog crap 10-second call, and then the ball right at the baseline where the guy kind of come over our guy, and when they replayed it live slow, it looked like their guy knocked it out, and Barnes was just kind of there stone-faced. And I was like, you got to be kidding me at this point. It was just 3 possessions in a row that, to me, was dog crap calls by the officials.
Well, but guys, if we're being real, let's say the officials go the other way and they send Tennessee to the line 10 more times than Arkansas tonight.
Yep.
You're not making the free throws, so it really doesn't. I mean, what is it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Al, you're right. I hate to say that, but he's right, sir.
I'm not blaming why we lost,
Yeah.
I just felt that we got a very unfair whistle tonight. It probably still wouldn't have mattered.
It's an interesting thing Matt brings up because dating back to the Kentucky days, Doug Schall's, it's like an avowed enemy, and that fan base went at him like white on rice, which didn't help things. But yeah, they've had some real flashpoint moments down through the years, he and Calipari. But I appreciate your call. Thank you. In the upstate, let's go back to our phones and get our next call in. It's Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, presented by Marcos Garza, the Garza Law Firm. Hi, you're on the air.
What's up, Tony? Grant in Birmingham. How are you?
Hey, Grant. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, good to talk to you as always after these basketball games. I've agreed with a lot of the stuff tonight. I do kind of feel like I'm taking a little bit of crazy pills. Again, we had a lot of things go against us tonight. Obviously, the free throw shooting, that goes without saying. It's got to get better. I don't think we're going to be a great free throw shooting team.
Yeah.
We will not shoot 40% every game. It will get better. You shot 40%. Yeah. Obviously, Amen wasn't great. I do think a little of the stuff's gone a little overboard. I mean, if he just makes a couple more free throws, he ends up with 16 points, and he's our leading scorer tonight. And you'd think people – you got Dave. You think this guy, we shouldn't even see him on the floor. But whatever. I get why people are going to be hard on him. But my main point is, that's a good Arkansas team. Is it a great Arkansas team?
Probably
no, I
not.
don't think they're a Final Four team. But they're a Sweet 16, Elite 8 type team. They got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
We went to Bud Walton Arena. We were down 3 at the under 4. I know it got away with. We got away from us there in the last 3 minutes as they kept throwing in some bombs. But I thought I saw a lot of good stuff, and I don't know, maybe I'm just a little more positive than some people that call in, all emotional after these games. But it's the first game of the year. I'd say it's the toughest arena in the league to play in.
Yes.
Against what I'm with Matt. I think that's the best team right now. I mean, Bama's good too. I'd put Bama up there. We'll see about Vandy. They beat another bad team today, so They still haven't been tested. I think they play Bama Tuesday or Wednesday night. That'll be interesting. But I'm I've seen our team with Kennedy Chandler. It was a great team, went up there and lost. Grant and Admiral went up there and lost.
Yep.
I'm sure we can go back. Jerry Green's good teams went up there and lost. Bruce Pearl went up there and lost. I don't know. I just think that we did a lot of good things. Amari, Evans, that's a huge – we've been talking about that for 2 months, Tony. If we got to get the guard play. If that is anything real with him, to me, that's a game changer. Because I just think that – it's like I said last time I called. It's going to come down to Gillespie and Nate. But you got to get the secondary scores, and that's why Boswell and that's why Evans, to me, is kind of in the last 3 weeks. I've kind of changed my feeling on this team back to being kind of optimistic because those guys have kind of come out of nowhere to be scorers. So yeah, like I said, that's kind of my big picture thoughts. Is I'm just a little surprised that we haven't had any more positivity. And again, there are things to pick at, of course. Like I said, the free throw shooting terrible. I thought this was just a tough game for Carey. I think y'all maybe said at the very beginning. He's just not tall enough. And I think most games he's going to be able to function. Tonight was a game where he wasn't going to be able to function, and that's how we've been doing. That's how we've been doing a lot of scoring in the last month, especially. So even you take that out, we got basically nothing from him. And again, we were down 3 with 3.5 minutes to go. Was the last 3.5 minutes terrible? Really, the last 8 minutes were terrible. But even with all that being said, 3.5 minutes to go, you're down by 3 points, and they throw in that. Well, first of all, they call it to me with a ticky-tack foul. They hit 2 free throws. We get the stupid 5-second call, another inexcusable play. Where is – I don't know. Can the coaches not call timeout? Where is Barnes on that? I love Barnes, but, good Lord, we had 3 timeouts. I don't know how that turnover happens.
You talking about on Amen?
Correct. Yeah, we got the 5-second call. We have 3 timeouts. There's 3 minutes to go. Someone's got to be screaming and get someone's attention. We got to call timeout there. Yes. You can't take a turnover.
You got to help him. Yes.
So anyway, sorry, I'm kind of getting rambling, but I haven't heard anybody hardly say anything positive tonight, and I thought there were a lot of good things that came out of this game.
Grant,
and again, we lost a road game at Arkansas. Whoop-de-doo. We've done that lots of times in my life.
Matt mentioned this earlier. Let me throw this around the room, and I want you to hang there. Matt, could you say that tonight's a good thing if what we saw tonight out of Evans is real? And that's a real development, that you went there, you lost the game, but you found him. That's almost a trade I would make for the rest of the year if it's real. You agree with that, Matt?
Yes, absolutely.
I'd make that trade. I would make that trade.
He's not going to give you 16 in every league game, but if he can be 8 to 12 and have these impact games like he was your best player tonight.
Yes, he was.
Absolutely. That's that positive trumps the negative of losing. Absolutely.
And Grant, here's the thing.
You couldn't afford to have Carey and Akpar both have bad games.
That's
tonight.
Right. Well,
you needed at least one of those to be functional, and unfortunately they weren't.
To your point too, and here's the other thing, Grant, that I like about that kid is just looking at him. He does not look like a freshman. He's got a man's body already. And he was, Alex said this earlier. We were doing like a little preamble before we got on the air tonight. We were doing like a little watch along in the last couple minutes. And Alex said, I'll tell you one thing about that kid. He did not look afraid of that moment in that building tonight. That did not bother him one iota, being in that atmosphere, which a lot of times kids will fold in that deal.
Yeah, well, and the thing I'll say about him, too, is, like, I thought the first month this season, I thought he did look afraid. I thought up at Syracuse, I mean, the whole team was bad that night. Yeah. But, like, he looked awful in that game. So, like, all these people that want to just write off Amen and just, every game, $4 million, blah, 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 blah. Like, if Amari Evans can come this far in a month, you're telling me that in 5 or 6 weeks, Nate can't. And, again, I get it's not been great. But, like, we're still just killing a kid who had 13 points on the road tonight at Arkansas. Like, you're telling me he can't go from, 10, 11, 12, make a few more free throws, make a few more shots. Like, again, it's January the 3rd or 4th, whatever today is. Like, we got a lot of season left. Like, and again, people want to say halfway through the season. Okay, that's true in the number of games. And we all know these Crip games, I'm sorry, Nate Ament could have dominated these Crip games 2 years ago. All right? Playing South Carolina State doesn't do anything for him. He needs to get in these type of games tonight on the road where, like the caller a couple callers ago that was there, the students are ripping him. Like, that's a different experience. It just is. And again, like, it's been a little disappointing how he is. I'm not trying to just completely hate for the guy.
That's right, yeah.
But, again, the people that just want their pound of flesh for Nate Ament every single night, they've moved on from the football players. Again, that was a disappointing season. So we've moved on. Let's turn the table and let's just beat Nate Ament to death. That's the new thing. And, again, I'm right there with him. I will criticize. I think you know that. I am critical at times. But, like, I just think there's a lot of room for him to grow. And these, and we'll see. And maybe he won't. Maybe he will struggle all year. I'm not saying that that's not possible. But I just think that, and again, one comment I'll say too, I kind of disagree with you on him attacking the basket. Like, to me, his shot, and now he's got to get better at it. He's got to make a few more. But, like, I think he did it in the last minute. That 15-footer, if he's like, that is an unguardable shot. That's the Kevin Durant shot that Barnes fell in love with. Now, again, if he's missing them all game, you're kind of stuck. But, like, if he gets in that rhythm, that's a shot that's, to me, like, that needs to be, like, he needs to get better at that and more confident in the games because that is an unguardable shot. And, again, like, that's where I just think a lot of it's mental right now. Like, we know he's a good free throw shooter. Like, I've seen this guy stroke in high school. He shot it good at the start of the year. Like, I just think he is going to come out of it. Who knows? Will it happen Tuesday night? I don't know. How will it look at Florida next week? I don't know. But, again, I will buy the Nate Ament stock as people, want to throw him to the side here on January the 3rd. But anyway, enjoyed as always. Like I said, I'm optimistic. I thought a lot of what I saw tonight, like I really do feel a lot better after the Louisville game and tonight. Like, I'm back to thinking this is I don't think we're a top 1 or 2 seed in the tournament, but like I think there's a lot of potential for this team. And I'll say too, long term, Boswell and Evans, like that kind of changes the vibe going in future years as well. Again, you got to sign them. I get they're all going to want money and all that kind of thing. But like that's a couple guards you can build around for a few years. I don't think any of us in October thought we were going to feel about Bishop, Boswell, and Evans. So anyway, enjoyed it, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, and Boswell, 6 points tonight. I mean, he's playable. He's passable. 21 minutes. To the phones we go, 865-200-5402. There are some positives that come out of tonight. I just look at our club and I say that the trouble on defense is going to carry these guys, follow these guys. I don't know how many teams in the league can really make you pay the way Arkansas can. I mean, this Acuff guy is a hell of a player. I mean, he's just a great player. He's what you call, as a 5-star player, a real hit from the very beginning. And, he's a guard, obviously, but sometimes guards don't work at this level. The great ones or the high-level guys, he's obviously very, very, very good. We'll go back to our phones. And Evans getting you 16 tonight, to Matt's point. And it's how he did it, Al. It's not just the points he scored. I like how he did it. That That kid's got some dog in him.
Well, it's just, and it's fair or not to Nate Ament. The problem with Acuff is that it is a total and complete 180 from what Nate Ament is.
Yes.
As far as how he plays the game emotionally. I mean, you saw that dunk early and he kind of screamed, but after that, whereas Acuff, I mean, Tennessee didn't defend him particularly poorly, I didn't think. I mean, he's going to make plays, but the guy was making shots. I mean, he was making, 25 footers over guys falling back. And basketball, baseball and kickers and football, people always talk about it's a mental game. Basketball is an incredibly mental game where confidence is key if you're shooting. And it's pretty clear looking out there. One guy has no lack of confidence, no issues. And another guy, quite frankly, needs to find some. And the one thing I'll disagree with that last caller is he was talking about, well, I guess kind of referring to it really doesn't matter. Ament could have gone 2 years ago and dominated South Carolina State and stuff. The problem is, and I think this is what the fan base wanted to see with some of those games, is a guy who clearly needed a little bit of confidence boost. It would have been nice for him to go out and drop 25 in one of those games, not for the fans, but for himself.
I think everybody's a little right on Nate Ament. I think the last caller's right. I think you're right. I think Matt Dixon's right. I think Negadave's right. That's the thing that's kind of interesting about Ament. I think everybody's a little right on him. And if you were to ask a Tennessee fan, are you disappointed in Nate Ament to this point, and they don't say no to you, they're lying. Because he's been disappointing. He's been disappointing. I'm sorry. My saying when I have to deliver some bad news is I didn't do it. He's been disappointing, and I didn't do it. So we'll go back to the phones and get our next call in. The Acuff guy though is just he's just a bird of a different feather. You can just see it. He is a tough. That's the kind of guy I want on my team in March, guy. That's the guy. You give that guy the ball, and you get the hell out of the way. But let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air. It's Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime. Hi.
Hey, Tony. Let me see if I have this straight. The football team that sucks, everybody is trying to tell me is good, and the basketball team that's good, everybody's trying to tell me they suck. I mean, I'm
Colombo!
in the twilight zone. I'm in the twilight zone.
Matt, what do you think of Colombo coming in here and distilling it down like that?
It is odd. We just always harp on the negatives of the basketball team and where they're at when they're going back-to-back Elite Eights. When I think we're overly negative way too much. It's not just sports. It's just kind of society in general. But yeah.
Can I say something real unpopular to Mark's point?
Hit it.
Mark, to answer your question, the reason why I think it's a subconscious thing in the fan base that there are two different sets of expectations for these head coaches.
I get it. But, they lost a game on the road. That Arkansas team's really good, man. And I don't think we play them again. But I'd like to see them play them in Food City. I think they'd have something for them when they came back to if they ever came to Knoxville this season.
Sure.
I mean, it's a elite road game that they were in for 35 minutes and they didn't hit any free throws. I wasn't discouraged. They played well. I mean, the carry dude has got to be more aggressive at the rim in this league. That's not going to work. That was soft shit. I'm sorry.
The problem with him, though, is he's
athletes like that. That was soft. He was soft.
The problem with him, Mark, is he's 6'8", and he's not getting off the floor. He's not a high-rise guy. It's not part of his deal. And he's playing some guys that look like you got pogo sticks out there. That's
I get it.
They're pogo sticks.
And I like them, but I thought he was soft. I mentioned this on your show a month ago or so.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Ament. In a perfect world, he'd be here 2 years.
Yep.
Maybe with NIL you can get that done.
but he'd get a year in the elite Tennessee strength program. He'd come back and he'd be player of the year. He's just a little weak for this league. That doesn't mean he can't be a contributor, but no. Is he going to carry you to the promised land? It's not going to be him this year. It's just not. But he's a 6'11" gazelle with a very good shooting stroke, a good passer, can handle it. When he's aggressive coming off the pin downs and on the curls, he can go. Like it's 2 steps and he's at the rim. But it's an adjustment period for him playing against this kind of physicality compared to what he's used to.
I wonder if Barnes thought he'd be more than he is, guys. That's a question I would love to, like, what his real, not what he says to the press, but, and I'm sure he don't even show those cards to his fellow coaches. If he thought, if this kid's about what he thought he was going to be, or it's you see what I'm getting at, Matt? I wonder in Barnes's mind what he thinks of Ament to this point.
Yeah, I've wondered that too. If he, I mean, he's probably disappointed and thinks he would have been further along. But it's a good question there. Maybe he's right where he thought he'd be.
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
it's not like Barnes doesn't know what he's looking at. Barnes has been high on him. But
he's playing him.
He's a developmental kid.
I agree, Mark. I agree with that.
He's playing them.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree with that.
You know, I don't think Barnes is going to play guys that he doesn't think could help.
We've seen him process like some highly recruited guys. We've seen him go, okay, well, you're not going to play. You're right.
And here's the thing, guys. Every team in the country would give that kid $4 million. They just would. We beat, let me see here, Duke for him. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not, you don't not take that kid. That's just not, that's a non-negotiable. You take him, period. End of sentence. He's the 4th-ranked player in the country. What, you turn that down?
I wonder, though, if he would have gone to Duke, what his role over there would be right now. And I think that's a honest question when you look at Duke's basketball team.
And, they ain't setting the world on fire.
Well, and Matt,
they ain't look real good the last few weeks. But I hear you.
But Matt,
that's all I want to say, guys. It just feels like a Twilight Zone to me.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, good talking to you. So his point is, you had a football team this year that wasn't going to beat anybody. Never was going to beat anybody with that defense. Just never was going to beat anybody. And then you have a basketball team that's already beat some people, but people are like, these guys suck, they can't play, get out of my face. And then to some extent, like Matt said, when you have 2 Elite 8 appearances, you're not going to go to the Elite 8 every year. You're just not.
I know it kind of fell flat. Did my comment about the Heupel did that make any sense, or do I need to elaborate?
Again.
Just
elaborate. Hit it.
My point in saying that was that with the fan base and Rick Barnes, the expectation is not Sweet 16, right? Like, the expectation is we want to get to the Final Four. And fair or not, a lot of the fan base at this point, 11, 12 years into his tenure, they're only going to be satisfied if we can break through that glass ceiling. Whereas with the football team, top 12, making the top 12 for a lot of people, it would have been good enough this year. Last year they get blown out by Ohio State, but like, the expectation is not. I don't know anybody, the truest orange-blooded Tennessee fan I know, that thought going into this season or thinks going into next season or really the year after that Josh Heupel's program is in a place where you're going to be making the Final Four. I just don't. But with the basketball, that's kind of the expectation. That's what I kind of was meaning on that.
865-200-5402. And then it's only, the expectation only gets ratcheted up when Nate Ament is supposedly, and Barnes talking about him, favorably comparing him to Kevin Durant. What were fans supposed to do? I mean, they didn't exactly set this guy up to succeed in the eyes of fans, But you make a great point, Al, and we'll come back. Alex Myers is here. Matt Dixon's here. My name's Tony. We'll get some more calls in. We'll do it all ahead. On the other side, it's Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime. Get you back to Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime momentarily. Fast-flowing show today, as they all are, and life flows quickly at you. Look, you're going to need an attorney you can count on. That's why Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm here for you. They are live and local. They are one of us. They are of this earth. They are not from Alabama. They are not from Florida. They are not from Atlanta. They are not one of these fly-by-nighters that have bombarded the area with all kinds of crazy marketing and crazy promises. They are us, ladies and gentlemen, your Garza Law Firm, online at garzalaw.com. Whether it's DUI, criminal defense, personal injury, Social Security, or disability, they got you covered at Garza Law, online at garzalaw.com. You talk about one of us, you bow thy head. That's the great Allen at WeShipFloors.com. Whether you're a contractor or a homeowner, WeShipFloors.com, their pricing is utterly insane. You will literally save thousands. Supercore floor, it is the real deal. Whatever you do, go to WeShipFloors.com. Check out the room visualizer on the website. You can drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order a free sample today. It is that simple. You order a free sample, it makes us look great, but you're also gonna, when you see the product and you go on YouTube and you check out WeShipFloors.com, that's WeShipFloors.com, right out of Johnson City. Millions and millions and the millions of square feet in stock. WeShipFloors.com. Save thousands on millions. WeShipFloors.com. And while we're on the subject, I want to say, raise a glass. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for our friends at Dos Equis. You are going to go for Dos. Say it, know it, and write it down. Dos Equis, Lager Especial. When it's time to celebrate, when it's time to nestle in and watch the Vols all winter long. Dos Equis Lager Especial, that golden Pilsner-style beer made from the choice of hops. A balanced composition, a smooth, clean finish. The party guest always invited, never overstays his welcome. Dos Equis Lager Especial. You can dress it up, rub that bottleneck, that can, that glass, that rim. Put a little lime on it. Dip it a little salt. And lick and drink and repeat, and you'll come back again and again. Dos Equis 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas. White Plains, New York. Yo soy Antonio. Go for Dos Equis. Also, how do we perform at our best? It's called performance medicine. I want to encourage you to check out Performance Medicine's YouTube channel. You'll be very glad that you did. They are absolutely incredible at performance medicine. Dr. Rogers and his gang want you healthy. They don't want to treat you when you're sick. They want you to stay healthy. Take control of your wellness. Personalized health solutions that fit your life. The approach of performance medicine puts you first, focusing on comprehensive, proactive solutions, empowering you to achieve optimal health on your terms. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you feeling drained? You struggling with your weight goals? You feeling foggy mentally? You dreaming of radiant skin? You name it, they've got it. Performance Medicine. Online at performancemedicine.net, and check out their YouTube channel. They are incredible people, helping hundreds and hundreds in this audience. And now, without further ado, let's get back to another edition of Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime. And I want to share a couple things with you that we've gotten as we welcome you back, and then we'll get some more calls in. First of all, the plus minus that Tennessee uses internally is not the one that is shown in the box score. They use something called a box plus minus. We've gotten it for this game. And I'll just give you a little example here, because the one they publish, let's compare the two here. On the plus minus, let's look at this here. Okay. It just as an example, okay? Amari Evans, Matt, according to what they've published, was a -9 today, Matt, in plus minus. There's no way that's true, is there? That's what it says. There's no way that's true. How come it doesn't
You
look
were
right?
outscored by 9 points when he was on the floor. Yeah, but that doesn't say anything about how good he was today. That's why I think that's just an awful number to judge a player by, because there's 9 other guys on the floor that impact that number.
The box plus minus for this game, and this is using a real hyped up formula. Don't ask me. I have no damn idea. He's plus 25. The second highest guy on the team, Alex, care to guess it? Second highest. He came up earlier in the show.
Nah, it beats me. Go for it.
Estrella, 22, plus 22. Boswell is plus 13 in the numbers they care about. Ament is plus 4, Gillespie plus 2, and everybody else is a minus. Take a guess, guys. Who had the highest minus on the team in the box plus minus?
Akpara.
Carey, minus 15. That's wild, isn't it?
What was Berg's line?
Berg was minus 4.
But he only did that in like 4 or 5 minutes. So
that's right.
I mean, he was by far the worst. But he did. Luckily, they didn't leave him out there for too long.
If my boy Gary Sturm's listening, Sturm without a warning, he made it count. Bro, Berg made it count out there today. Akpar is minus 2. I'll just read it. So Evans plus 25, Estrella plus 22. Those are excellent numbers. Boswell plus 13. Again, very playable. Ament plus 4 needs to be higher, obviously. Gillespie plus 2 obviously needs to be higher. Akpara minus 2, Berg minus 4. Brown somehow shows up with a minus 8 in 16 minutes played. Cadu's on him. Abram today minus 9 in 11 minutes played. And then Carey bringing up the rear minus 15. So we'll unpack. We've got a long time to kind of look at Ament. Tennessee's back in action, by the way, Tuesday night against Texas, and it's crazy. It's a 9 o'clock tip locally. I mean, what are we doing? Torvik today moved the Vols from the first 4 seed to the third 4 seed after that loss. What should a goal be for this team? A goal? What do you all think? Earning a 3 seed maybe? Trying to win enough games to get to the 3 line? That'd be a heck of an accomplishment, right?
Oh yeah. A top 4 line seed would be really, really good with this team.
Tennessee's got a game at Florida next week. They've got Kentucky, who sucks, and then they're at Alabama. Those are the next 3 Saturdays. At Florida, Kentucky here, at Bama the next 3 Saturdays. Extremely front-loaded schedule. Florida, in a lot of ways, Matt, kind of looks like the Vols. Kind of a weird backcourt, pretty good front line. Be an interesting basketball game. The goal for Tennessee, if you win one of the next 3 Saturday games, take care of the midweek games. The schedule's going to lighten up after that. The second half of the league schedule, if you peek at it, is not great shakes. But you hope at that point you're round into form, and you hope you don't absorb too many losses between now and then, because you are going to absorb a few losses. Life on the road in this league's difficult. Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You are on our Garza Law Tennessee Basketball Overtime. Hi.
Hey, Tony. Steve from Jasper.
Hey, Steve. Welcome in.
Hey, I'm calling from Bentonville, Arkansas right now.
Oh, wow. You were one of the few there, huh?
Yeah, I was there, and I always wanted to go to a game at Bud Walton. I've got 2 great friends up here in Gisborne. So,
nice.
I'm on that. Talk about 3 things that I've heard that I think I could see by being at the game.
Sure.
That people couldn't see maybe on TV.
Sure.
That 10-second call, the shot clock was down to 20. well before he got to midcourt. I don't know if somebody tipped the ball as they were throwing it in bounds or not, but it was down to 20. So, based on the shot clock, it was 10 seconds. Another thing is that Barnes, people don't see him working the officials because he does so much of it during timeouts when they're showing commercials on TV. He was working the officials during pretty much every timeout. And one time he called called one over, and after he'd had his time with him, he called another one over and talked to him for a while. And I guess the other thing, I got up at halftime and I just walked the loop around the arena outside in the concourse. And, I counted 15 people that were obvious Tennessee fans, and either wearing orange or, they might have been wearing a black, black shirt with an orange tee on it. Now, of course, not everybody goes out in the concourse at halftime. I'd say there were 75 to 100 people scattered around that were Tennessee fans in the place, but it was a pretty, pretty sparse group. Of course, it's a long way. It's a long way to Fayetteville.
It's the middle of nowhere, man. Plus, it's still football season. I mean, there's a lot of things working against you here,
But I thought Estrella played a good game, and also, I don't understand. Are they still looking for a rotation? I mean, I guess one thing that frustrates me, and it's something I harp on a lot, but they could have played a few more decent teams. Maybe even some Ken Palm, 100 ranked teams, or 90s, 100, 130. In November and December, I think, and worked on the rotation a little more. I guess I'd like to hear what you think about that. I mean, we played some terrible teams in November.
There's
December.
no doubt. I mean, it was dreadful. It was either you're playing somebody that's pretty good, or you're playing somebody that's literally in the bottom of the barrel.
So I don't know, but they were right. Another thing, they were riding. I guess the fellow from Dallas, he was correct. They were riding Amen. Tennessee was headed toward the student section in the first half, and they rode him pretty heavy.
That's great,
in the first half down there at that end of the court. And
you know what I call that, Steve? I think that's good for that kid. It's all part of it, man.
Yep.
All part of it.
So, but anyway, it's a great trip. I'm glad I got to see a game at Bud Walton, and just wish Tennessee had pulled it out. That 3-pointer. I mean, that prayer Arkansas threw in when they were up by 5. That was kind of the dagger, I think.
Yeah, that was. Yep.
Tennessee could have gotten that rebound and gone back down and made it a 3 or even a 2-point game. But at that point, it was pretty much over. So,
Steve, thank you. Great call. I'm glad you got to do that, man. That's cool. That is that's neat, because that is a great place. And you want to see Arkansas, Matt, really when they're cooking. You don't want to go in there on a down year for them. You wanted to go to a game like today, even though you lost the game. You wanted to experience that.
Yeah, I think the last time they went there was Eric Musselman's final game there in that disaster season that I think Tennessee won by like 30 points, and it was a Kevin O'Neal crowd, which is crazy. Yeah. And it's it's a Saturday game, so obviously I've always thought those are a lot tougher, especially when it's in an environment like that. So yeah, that is cool. One of my earliest Tennessee basketball memories was one of those games back there in the mid '90s when Arkansas was obviously elite, and they were beating Tennessee like 22-1, like 10 minutes into a game.
Wow. Let's go back to our phones. Yeah, them roughing up Nate Ament, good for him. Back to the phones we go. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
What do you say, Thomas Lee, man?
Hey, Lee, man. Welcome in, brother.
You breaking down box plus minus on here? Is this where we're at?
I mean, I guess so, buddy.
Yeah, man. So I think a lot of this stuff is just looking back the last 2 years, right? We go to Elite Eight. We have Connect and we have Lanier, and then I mean it's like the new shiny toy, and that's just I think what everybody's had in their head. Like this is what we're getting, and it's just the kid's young. He's not grown like those guys were. His playing on a different team. You know, he's a different player than those guys. But I guess people just had expectations that that's what they were getting, you know. And I don't think it helps, too, that he's also playing in a freshman class in college basketball. That's one of maybe the best of all time if you look around college basketball. I mean, some of these guys are just freaks, man.
And wouldn't you know who won the pony, right? To this point, out of the top 10, who's the guy that looks furthest away? Of course, the guy that plays for the Vols, as somebody said earlier. That's just kind of how it works around here, man. It doesn't mean he's a bad player, but it just kind of how it works around here.
And they're all different. I mean, look, Acuff's a stud, and he's a ball dominant point guard. Like, he's going to put up numbers. It's a completely different type of game. You know, the Boozer kid is going to play booty ball. Like, that's not what Ament does. I mean, they're all different. So, you know, I think Ament is still a matchup nightmare for teams. Like his off the ball stuff, like coming off those pin downs, is really hard to guard. He's just got to knock down those shots, you know. And I don't think he would have been rated as highly as he was. And I don't think every other school in the country wanted him if the guy couldn't shoot. So maybe it never comes. Maybe he never finds a shot. And if it happens, that's the way it happens, whatever. But, you know, I don't want to focus on, like, that kid after every game. They're finding ways, despite not having a two guard and outside shooting, to supplement and still be a very good basketball team. Like, our front court is still really fun to watch. Like, we lead the country in offensive rebounding percentage. Like, we're like number 5 in like second chance points. Like, these things matter. And some people don't ever bring these things up. They just want to talk about, well, we don't have a two guard. Like, I get it. This isn't the ideal situation. Surely you want another guy that can shoot, but, you know, we're still playing good defense. I've heard people rag on the defense. Like, look, nobody's stopping Acuff. Okay, ZZ and Meshack were unicorns with their perimeter on the ball pressure. Those guys weren't stopping Acuff either. Acuff's going to smoke those guys too. He's that good. That guy should be in the league right now, averaging 22.5 a game. So, you know, I just think I never thought we were going to win this game. This was going to be one of the toughest games on your schedule. That's a really damn good Arkansas team. I thought Grant had a really good call. Like, it's hard to go in there and win. You know, I think this team's going to be fine. This Tennessee team, it doesn't have the ceiling like the top 8-10 teams in college basketball.
No.
It doesn't mean on any given night they can't beat one of those teams.
Right.
Yeah, can they go on a run in the tournament and like beat 2 or 3 of those teams in a row? No.
Right.
But they're still a really damn good team, man, and they're going to battle. They're not getting just blown out of games when they lose. You know. Now, I will say this. The biggest thing to me is still, in order for this team to reach its ceiling and play its best basketball, J.P. Estrella has got to be like that next guy. He has to be that guy that can go out there and get you 18 to 20 and pull in close to 10 rebounds a game. And maybe the injury situation is not going to allow that to happen, and he never finds himself.
Yeah,
but if it's so, that's a shame. But he has to be extremely productive for this team to like play at a certain level to compete with the best in the country. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
I kind of agree with that. And again, if you had to kind of waste a game today to find Evans, because they found something with him today, I'll make that trade. No question. I will make that trade, Lee, because that's what the regular season's about. I'll make that trade with you.
No question, because if you can't get that from Estrella, then give Evans the chance to be that guy.
Yep. And
do that for you, because this team desperately needs that third piece. That can be productive with points, and I think it can be him.
Yep.
So, anyway, like I said, I didn't think we were going to win tonight. I thought I was pretty impressed with how we battled and how we played in a really tough environment. And you know, the truth is, even if we made a few more free throws, the only thing that was likely going to do was just going to cause Acuff to hit a couple more daggers in our eyeball at the end of the game and break our hearts anyway. If I'm just being honest, I mean,
no answers for him. No, you got no answers for him, right?
We kept Arkansas out of transition, which is where they're actually best at, and forced them to make shots in the half court. And he's an elite half court shot maker. What can you do? You know.
I mean, if you had on your Singo card that we would have 6 more fast break points than them in this game, I think you would take that.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I would have never bet on that.
You know, never.
Yes.
Ever.
So.
But
anyway,
thank you, brother.
Like I said, I'm not worried. Love you guys.
Good talking to you, Lee. Thank you. You know, another thing, Matt, weird about tonight's game is they had 10 blocks to our 2. You couldn't have told me that was going to happen. But they hustled, man. A lot of their blocks were like recovery blocks.
Yeah, they were just really impressive. It was a really good defensive performance by them. They've got a more talented team and more athletes, and that obviously showed in some of those spots. But it's a good point that Lee brought up about the fast break stuff, because that's where Arkansas has been deadly, and Tennessee actually outscored them in a real shocker. So, but again, you're minus 17 from the free throw line, and that's with this team, with the lack of shooting that this team has, you're almost never going to beat anybody with that, because we play so inside out.
No doubt about it. Back to the phones we go. We'll get one more in, and then we got to get out of here. And by the way, we'll be live with you after the Texas game on Tuesday night. It's a 9 o'clock Eastern start. Hello, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hi, guys. It's Jack.
Hey, Jack. Good talk to you.
Yeah, but this Arkansas team ain't that great. Be real frankly with you, this whole SEC ain't very good this year.
No, it's not. It's way down.
And everybody wants to keep carrying water for a man. He's not any good. He's not going. I don't know, and I'm not saying that he can't shoot, but he ain't showed me much of that he can shoot. And maybe it's Barnes' offense. Barnes seems like he has a knack for bringing these 5-stars and turning them into dog food. Am I not correct on that?
He doesn't have a great track record of high-end success when he pins his hopes on one-and-done guys. I believe as great, and he was an incredible player. I believe that, Matt, this is true, right? Durant's team was beaten in the second round, yes?
Yeah, they were like a 6 seed and lost by like 20 points in the second round. Yeah.
I feel Barnes is one in the portal 2 years, and he's lost this year as far as with Ament and what he's got. Ament ain't going to turn the corner. He ain't going to gain weight. He ain't going to get stronger. He seems timid. He's weak and timid. And I just don't understand. All these people want to keep thinking they're going to turn it on, or he's going to get better. He's not got any better. He's actually got worse since the first of the year.
He does.
Now, I did hear a couple of weeks back that he was hurt, but nobody's ever said anything about that. And he's playing through an injury, and they've tried to maybe shut him down. Have you heard anything on that?
No, they were never going to shut him down, but he did have a spot where he was struggling with a foot ailment of some kind. But, yeah, he was not going to get shut down.
Yeah. So we'll see where it goes. But I just, none of the officiating or Jimmy Dock's calling the game or none of that has anything to do with us missing free throws.
We
can't hit free throws. Yeah. We can't win ball games.
No, you're right.
This team is not constructed. It's poorly constructed. And I just, seeing it
I don't
being
know
being a mid team.
I don't know if it's poorly constructed because look, they had the McNeely guy in the house, and if you have the McNeely guy, who ironically enough is like a third or fourth option at Louisville, he's not great shakes. He would have been absolutely a top option here, Matt. There is very little doubt that with the construction of this team, he would have been. At least
I think he'd have been your third option here
Easy.
too. He just would have had nights where he was your leading scorer because
on him.
Other guys got him shots. But yeah,
that's right. You would have leaned on him.
Yeah, he would be he's exactly what you need.
Yeah,
that wing shooter. Yeah.
And really, what you've got now is you got guys who are going to have to fight for it nightly here, and maybe they will. We'll see. I think they're going to be hard to beat at home. And I think the road wins with this group are going to be hard to come by unless they start doing little things well. They've got to get better defensively.
And this would have been a total different outcome. I hate to disagree with Lee, but they would have not got in the lane. They would not got them easy shots like they got. today. If you had Ziegler and Maychak, that's a total different. Them two guys are way better defensively than Gillespie or Bishop Boswell.
No, yes, I agree with that. That backcourt was much better defensively. Now Boswell is a defensive on this group, and with this group, he is a defensive stopper. But yeah, they were tougher last year defensively, no doubt about that. No doubt.
Boswell's going to have to start shooting it more. I mean,
it's not his game. It's just not his game, man. He shot 3 shots tonight. It's just not his game. And look, I mean, he's 2 of 3. He ends up with 6 points. He plays so hard that he commits 4 personal fouls in 21 minutes. I mean, he gave it his all tonight. I don't fault him.
Yeah, at scoring is not a men's game, but I mean, I just feel like Boswell's got to take more shots. Boswell's got to do more on offense.
Yeah.
Amen's got to do more on offense, but Amen, I feel like he's a bust. He may be the biggest bust.
Come on, man.
In basketball history.
Jack.
He's terrible.
Jack.
He's terrible.
He's terrible.
He's the biggest waste of NIL money in Tennessee sports in the early era.
Jack.
He's a bigger waste than Boo Carter was.
Jack. Now, come on, Jack. Jack, are you related to Negative?
Negatives. I feel like Negatives hits a nail on the head a lot of times. A lot of people don't give him credit.
You would. Thank you. You guys need to get a room. Goodness gracious. I mean, that's some damn negativity right there. He's the biggest NIL waste of money in the history of the school, Matt.
Yeah, he was just playing a bit there out the door, kind of like Josh Boy does with his out the door comments.
I mean, come on, Negative. I mean, what was his name? Negative Jr.?
Jack.
Wartburg.
All right, I'm going to give you a little on the portal here because I got a few little odds and ends and nuggets here. First of all, King Mack and A.J. Harris, 2 Penn State DBs, are in the portal. I think Tennessee, King Mack is a guy that started at Penn State, ended up transferring to Alabama, transferred back to Penn State, played really well this year. I think he's a guy that they would welcome if they get involved with him. We'll see. The kid that we were telling you about, the defensive lineman that's on Tennessee's campus right now, the industry, okay, I'm back to this. The industry feels pretty good about Tennessee and him. If they're able to get home with him, that would be kinda, sorta incredible. If they're able to get home with him. I mean, that would be phenomenal development. I'm not saying he's going to end up here, but just the whispers I'm hearing. And look, we are the people that told you before the portal opened that Tennessee really wanted to get involved with Cincinnati quarterback, but really it was only going to be 2 teams for him. I'm leaning on an agent who kind of helps me with things, and the scuttlebutt in the industry is the belief was that kid was going to end up at Ohio State when he went into the portal. Now you have some familiarity with this Penn State theme of joining the staff. Matt, I think it would behoove the Vols to add 3 of those Penn State kids if they could. And maybe more if they could.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they've already played in the defense for a year, so the coaches know exactly what they'd be getting with them.
Yes.
And they have a much smaller learning curve. Really no learning curve compared to what the players here will have to do. So yeah, if you can get 2 or 3 of those guys, especially the high end ones that you're talking about.
Yes.
I mean, you're talking about the guys that were like their best defensive players. Absolutely. You can get get 2 or 3 of those. That is a nice way to kind of cut some corners with your year one rebuild defensively.
Tennessee's also nailed down a visit with Kamori House, who is going to transfer from North Carolina. It's Tennessee, Arkansas, and there are a couple other SEC teams that are there, but he was extremely productive this season. He had 78 tackles on the year. And again, people are wondering about King Mack. Was he the adjuster? To the best of my knowledge, the adjuster is a kid that's going to the draft. In other words, their safety that called the signals. That wasn't Mack. But Mack started slow, finished the season really well at Penn State. And then the other kid, A.J. Harris, is another defensive back there that Mike could help at corner. Mike could be a depth piece. We'll see what happens. But the Coleman situation, we'll see how all this whole thing goes. I think it's really interesting to consider that if Tennessee can get home with the great defensive end, it'll be very, very, very interesting. We'll see. Somebody's saying, look, the whole thing with LSU right now is LSU is going to throw crazy money around. The whole thing with Lane Kiffin is a circus behind the scenes. This is going to be a really interesting trying to watch Tennessee put this puzzle together. Initially, I thought, you know what, I'm kind of going to panic if they don't have some people fall after the weekend. I don't know that I feel that way right now, simply because it feels like there are adults in charge on defense, and it feels like they know what they want in players. And the more I think about it, the biggest indictment of last year's defensive staff is the fact that they let that kid get away and go to Miami for basically nothing. I mean, they let that kid get away for basically nothing that's down at Miami, who has been, Matt, a star player for them, a literal star player on their defense.
Yeah, he's been very, very good there.
Somebody mentioned Ty Simpson. Look, I put on the blog a couple days ago before all this happened, and I believe this, that Ty Simpson in Tennessee are worth watching. The question is, does Ty Simpson want to start and take a shot at the NFL and just go for it? I'll tell you this right now. If I were Tennessee and I was going to pay in the $3 to $4 million range for a quarterback, I would take a shot at him for $3.5 million and bring him in here and let him and let him play in this offense next year. He's played a lot of football. Matt, do you agree? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It'd be the 1 year rental with a guy that you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Pretty proven, a kind of a gamer that is really, really good. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you could get him, that'd be incredible. It'd be so ironic. You get a Bama quarterback that you kind of had heat with when he signed with Bama.
That's right.
With his dad.
Right.
But yeah, if you could somehow make that work, that would be incredible. But from Simpson's perspective, if you're thinking about going to the NFL, coming to Tennessee and playing Heupel's system doesn't exactly prepare you for that at all, though.
Well,
but again, you could. It'd be a good opportunity and a place to have a lot of fun and put up some great numbers.
I was talking to somebody about the Simpson thing today, and he brings a great point up, and it's this. The NFL is not going to view you any differently. Physically, he is what he is. It's kind of like Kennedy Chandler. People say, well, Kennedy Chandler made a mistake when he left. Kennedy Chandler was not going to get any bigger. Ty Simpson is seen by the NFL what he's seen as. He just kind of is what he is. The opportunity for him would be to get a payday, because you're not going to get paid like that in the NFL as a rookie. You're just not, especially where he would go in the draft. So it becomes it becomes an extremely interesting possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Please don't say that. But I could see something like that developing. Could you see that, guys? I could see something like that developing. Could y'all see that?
Yeah, there's enough dots that you can connect that. Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be really funny, and you'd kind of luck into a pretty dang good quarterback.
That's exactly
for a year.
Right. That's exactly right.
That'd be really. The more I think about it, the more I like it.
And that's been Heupel's history here. He lucks into guys. No offense.
I would take it right now, but would his dad? I mean, I'm being serious. Would his dad go for that?
If you're going to put $3 or $4 million in the son's pocket, and he'd have a chance to play in his home state and put up a bunch of yards, why wouldn't he? And if the guy comes and he has a good showing, it opens the door with his little brother, so who I think's not too shabby. But
that's a really good point too. No, that's a really, really good point.
So who knows? The thing about Alabama is they're not going to welcome him back because they want that 5-star kid to play that played in the playoff game, and God knows whether he's ready or not. He wasn't ready for that jelly the other night, but who the hell is? I mean, Indiana is they're on a different level. There are a couple other things worth watching, and I'm monitoring the Georgia Tech game early in the year. I've decided that when it comes to the portal in this season, I'm going to target looking at Georgia Tech because that, to me, is a doorway game for this season. You lose that game, you could go 6-6 next year. I'm not trying to be funny here, and I don't know what we're adding or what we're not adding. I'm just looking at Georgia Tech. Texas is targeting Georgia Tech's defensive coordinator. CBS Sports reported that earlier today. Blake Gideon is his name for a high-ranking defensive role with their team. Here's the thing. They've already lost their offensive coordinator. They've already lost their quarterback that was going to be their quarterback next year, Aaron Philo, who's gone to Florida with that offensive coordinator. And so I just think that it looks like Georgia Tech's going to be in a tweener deal here if they get their both coordinators pried loose. And by the way, Bo Pribula is planning on visiting Georgia Tech. Virginia Tech is linked to that kid from Old Dominion that I really like. Now, I don't know if they're going to get him or not, but Pribula is also supposed to visit there. There's no way in the world if I'm chasing that kid from Old Dominion, I'm bringing Pribula on my campus, unless I want him, Matt, to be a backup. I would take that all day long that Tennessee gets an opportunity to go against a Pribula, especially given our rework secondary and the fact that it's going to be going really fast for us early in the year next year with this new defensive coordinator. Would you drink to that, Matt, if Pribula ends up there?
At Georgia Tech, yeah,
yes.
That wouldn't scare me at all.
And let's see, is there one other note that I had for you? I think that's where we are. But King Mack and A.J. Harris are two names to watch with the Vols. And then also, I guess it broke earlier today that Matir Birugba, I don't even know how to say that, but Tennessee's going to get a visit from him if Texas Tech doesn't buy him. Texas Tech and Notre Dame are also involved, but that's another guy to watch. So it's an interesting thing. The Ty Simpson thing would make a lot of sense with me, especially when I don't see Tennessee. I don't hear a lot of connection with them and other quarterbacks in the portal. Do you, Matt? Or do you, Alex? I don't see that right now. I don't see that. So it could mean,
You don't, but I would think that Simpson would be one of the highest targets that teams would want if he entered the portal. I think he would jump almost all these guys that everybody talks about.
Yeah, unless you reach out and you talk him into the portal.
Yeah, and you get maybe some kind of hometown discount with him. Yeah.
Yes, which
would be impressive.
Which is what you hope. Again, I'm wishing on a star over here. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it makes sense to me. And I was told, which is why we put it in the blog, I was told by my agent guy that kind of helps us that he's an interesting, he put it, wild card. A wild card for the Vols is the way he termed it. So, any final thoughts, guys, on the game and what we did here? And I really appreciate everybody that called the show today. All of our wonderful sponsors. Please support them when you get the opportunity. Any final thoughts, guys?
I'm good. Enjoyed it as always.
Thank you. On Monday, obviously, we'll have a full download. I'm kind of trying to leave some people alone because they're tied up this weekend. I don't want to make myself too much of a pain in the ass, if that makes any sense. But look, I'm not pushing the panic button. I'm not. And Alex, thank you, brother. Alex, will you be in here Tuesday night for the Texas game? I'm just kidding you. Please jump into the room, Al, if you want to. Love to have you. Thank you to the great Alex Myers. In case you're wondering, I will be extremely worried about this basketball team if they lose to that Texas bunch Tuesday. Now, Texas does have a win over NC State. I mean, they're okay. NC State got run today by Virginia, a reworked Virginia team. So whatever. And NC State's supposedly a guy that was going to be one of the top players in the ACC hadn't gotten off the bus yet this year, and he was brutal against Virginia today. So Tennessee will be an 11-point favorite. They're playing a team that's 96th in defense in their building in a get-right spot. They're going to want to get right in a get-right spot in their building. So for Alex Myers, for Matt Dixon, my name's Tony Basilio. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. We only did, 2 hours. I'm not going to do this all the time, but the portal's overlapping. I felt the need to stay on a little extra longer. I hope you appreciate it. If you feel like sending us a tip, go over to tclub.team and click on Tip Us, and I love you. I have a tip for you. Don't eat the yellow snow. Don't get behind a horse. Appreciate you. Peace. Oh, yeah. Don't approach a dog with a really loud voice either. Love you. Thanks. Love your show. Peace. And I'll run today's show back for those of you that might have missed the beginning of the program. We'll do that as a labor of love for you, for you, for you, for you. I'm kind of pumped to see how this portal ends up, because I think it's going to be kind of fun to see. If I'm allowed to say that to you. I think it's going to be interesting. But let's go ahead and get the beginning of the show on for you here. Let me see where I'm at here. All right, here we go. Here's today's show coming back to you. Whoops. 49% to 42%. They shot 38% from three-point land to their 30%. Arkansas shot 88% from the foul line to Tennessee's 52%. Both teams turned the ball over 14 times. Tennessee had 13 points off turnovers. They had 17. The Vols were out-rebounded 36-33, which is not a number you can live with when you're on the road. Second chance points, Vols 14 to their 13. Bench points, they outscored Tennessee by 2, 35-33. Again, numbers you can live with. Points in the paint, 44-32 in favor of Tennessee. But the foul shot deal, if they don't clean that up, they're not going to win. This team does not do enough things well compared to past Rick Barnes teams, and they don't defend real well. they do not defend real. The guards do not. They were having trouble keeping Arkansas's guards in front of them. Now, look, we saw a freshman today in Akoff on an all-time heater. He had 29. And if they would have featured him, he could have gone for 40. If they would have featured him. I would have featured him.
They did feature him.
I would have featured him.
Up.
He would have shot more than 16
More
shots.
than 20
He would have shot. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
He got 16 shots. He should have shot more than 16 shots when you're going like that. Let's go to the phone.
He could barely walk there in the second half.
Well, that's a good point too.
No, he's special.
Mm-hmm. To the phones we go. 865-200-5402. Let's see who that first caller was that got there like an hour ago. The early bird gets the worm, or whatever that saying is. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. Dave.
Hey, welcome in.
You got to have guards, man. You got to have.
That's right.
He can't recruit offensive players. None of his guys can shoot.
Today the problem was
Gillespie was a 40% three-point shooter before he got here.
Today the problem was
but
on
see,
defense.
The problem with Gillespie is, guys, he's having to do it all. He's having to be the point guard and the